Yo, what's good? Fuck. What's going on, Freedom Marchers? Welcome to Freedom's March. Gotta turn this thing around. It's another day. Another day in South Carolina. My new hometown that I have adopted with open arms. On my way to pick up some furniture. It's about 58 degrees right now. It is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2021. In 2 days, I will be turning 42 years old. I'll be 42. My seven-year cycle. It was good, Kelvin Black. It was good. Yeah. Yep. Another day. I'm loving. So far, I'm loving South Carolina, man. I'm looking forward to getting some shit started. But anyway, I want to talk about this Freedom Convoy. What was it? What's up, BN? Sacktown. Thank you. I'm looking forward to getting into a lot of projects out here, you know. I want to talk about this Freedom Convoy. I think they're doing a great thing, man. I think they're out there, these truckers. You know, the truckers, they got the U.S. by the balls. All right, they got. Am I back? Am I back?
Left turn at the end of the road.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep going. So like I was saying, this Freedom Convoy, you know, they're doing a great thing, man. You know, these truckers, they're basically the lifeblood of the country, man, especially for those who are dependent on grocery stores and retail stores and things like that. You know, people that live in these big cities and, you know, they're really not self-sustainable. The truckers are they're the very lifeblood of this country for those people. And this is why I preach the importance of self-sufficiency, of self-sustainability. Not because, you know, hey, we need truckers regardless. You know, not everyone is going to be able to become completely independent. But, you know, they're necessary, right? But someone like me, I don't want to have to rely on the truckers. I don't want to have to rely on the supply chain that is basically depending on what the government is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the government can tell these truckers, oh, yo, get the Vaseline or don't drive trucks. I mean, that's not a good thing. That's not good at all. And what they're doing is showing them, look, we hold the power. We just want to drive our trucks. We want to deliver the items that people need. We enjoy it. This is something that truckers can be proud of, man. Like, for real. Like, being a trucker is not an easy thing, man. You're putting your health at risk, right? Because these guys are driving across country and they have to be somewhere at a certain time. There's a lot of demand on the products they have. And, you know, a lot of them aren't very fit, man. They're at the expense of their health. They're providing things for this country that many need. And, you know, that's just the reality of it. You become a trucker, man. I know truckers that are fit. You know what I'm saying? They make sure that they exercise. They exercise while they're on the road. They might have a Planet Fitness membership because it's Planet Fitness is all over the place. And, but very few have time to even stop and do a 30-minute workout, man. But anyway, these guys they're more important than the police to me, right? To me, for most people. Unless, like I said, you're self-sustainable, you're living off the land, like the products that you use in your daily life. If you live that minimalist lifestyle where you don't want or need for much, and you get your entertainment by being out in nature. That's how you have your fun. You're out in the wilderness. You're out on the farm with your animals. You don't need most of the creature comforts that modern people need today. Then you don't really need truckers. But at the same time, they are important for the stability of this country at this point in time, because people aren't just going to be able to be self-sustainable just like that. You see what's happening. People are panicking. Prices are going up. People are becoming homeless. People are committing suicide. Look,
is on the right.
All this is brought about by government. It's not the truckers' fault, right? It's not the truckers' fault, because the truckers were being held up since the pandemic began. They weren't allowed to deliver things because that was part of the agenda. The agenda was, look, let's present this pandemic to the people as though, oh, we can't get items to you. This is what happens, blah, blah, blah. You got to do what we say. You got to social distance. You got to wear a face flag. You got to get the Vaseline in order for things to get back to normal. It's a threat. We're being held under duress by the government of this country. And the truckers are like, man, screw y'all. We ain't going for it. This is how we're going to do this thing. And of course, Justin Trudeau is big mad. You know what I'm saying? The Alberta police, they were threatening to arrest the truckers because they're blocking a highway. And they called their bluff. The police, as of yet, has not done that. I mean, despite what the prime or whatever the hell you call them of Alberta saying that, oh, what they're doing is illegal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? You're going to arrest all these truckers? You're going to further disrupt the supply chain? And let's face it, that's what they want to do. They want to show that they have control over the supply chain by holding these truckers up, by doing these mandates, because they know that not most, but a lot of these truckers aren't going to go for that. They're going to say, screw you. And those who have gotten vacillated, they're still on board with the Freedom Convoy. They're still on the side of those truckers who don't feel like they need to get vacillated. So that's just the reality of it. These truckers, man, I stand with the truckers. They're doing a great thing. They have a GoFundMe. Now, of course, there is a such thing as controlled opposition. You want to be wary of any organization that does anything like this, right? You want to make sure that you vet the whole thing, vet the whole process, make sure that they're really doing what they're saying they're doing, make sure that they're not taking that millions of dollars that they have raised since this thing started and doing what BLM leaders are doing, like buying mansions and shit like that. They're taking that money and they're buying all kind of shit. I'm not saying that's what the Freedom Convoy is doing, but they've raised, like, I want to say $10 million. $10 million. Last I saw, the Freedom Convoy raised about $10 million. So, I mean, that's a lot of money, man. Like, but look how far and wide the cause has gone. Look how many people are supporting them. People are getting pandemic fatigue. A lot of people that were pushing the mainstream narrative are now switching it up, like Bill Maher and others. And dare I say, the Clown Shoe Lucas. I mean, even the Clown Shoe Lucas is kind of changing his tune a little bit, even though he's still an idiot, saying, For some reason, despite all the information that has come out about this thing, he still has this thing about, oh, don't go to the hospital if you refuse to get the Vaseline. This is still a dumbass. He's just still an idiot. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of people are changing their tune because what we have been saying, people like me have been saying for the last 2 years, we've turned out to be right, you know? And all we did was do our own research. The shit that they mock us for. They mock us for doing our own research. They mock us for fact checking. And all the shit that we have been fact checking and finding out, it has been a reality. It's been real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real shit. And everybody's starting to realize that. But these so-called leaders in these countries, like Joey B and Justin Trudeau, these fucking idiots, they still want to hold up this narrative. They still want to hold up this idea that this thing is as bad as they say it is. And that's the only reason I go to the stores, even in South Carolina, even when I was in Georgia, Alabama, I was in Texas, people were still wearing the fucking face flags. Even though there were no fucking mandates in these states. There's no mandate in Texas. There's no mandate in Alabama. There's no mandate in Louisiana. There's no mandate in Georgia. But why? What's wrong with y'all, man? And so my question is this. What will this accomplish? Is it enough? Because they might get a mandate overturned, right? They might get it to where, okay, the truckers, you guys don't have the mandate. I mean, get the Vaseline to drive trucks. We yield. We're going to give you that one. Okay, is that it? Are the tyrants still going to be able to commit other forms of tyranny? How far do we want to take this? How far do we want to take something like the Freedom Convoy? This is what if we use this model and expand it, right? Use the model, expand it, scale it, so that we can stop the tyranny on all fronts. Like, what if we use this model, scaled it to abolish the IRS, to abolish the Federal Reserve? You know what I'm saying? All right, get this fucking bot out of here, man. If I got a mod up in here, get this damn bot up out of here. I don't know what these bots are doing and where they're coming from, but it's so obvious to see it. I'm driving down the highway, and I can still see the motherfucking bot comment. Get that fucker out of here. Anyway, what are we going to do? Like, okay, so we stopped the face flag mandates. So we stopped the Vaseline mandates. So are we going to abolish all the gun laws? Are we going to abolish the IRS, the Federal Reserve? Are we going to decentralize the federal government? Like, how far do we want to take this? When we know what we can do. We know that if we band together, we stand together, and, you know, let's say we got the truckers to continue to be on the side of freedom, and they did this for other forms of tyranny to stop it. You know, like, it's just like every time something happens, every time there's a level of overt tyranny that occurs, you know, we do something to stop just that form of tyranny, but we allow the other forms of tyranny to continue. We allow the other forms of tyranny to continue because we have people out there like Brandon Tatum and ABL and the clown shoe Lucas who espouse freedom in one instance, and in another instance, they're still statists. They still want the government to have some level of control over people that they don't agree with. That shit has to stop. We have to call out these people. We have to call out the people that allow these statists, man. We need to put a stop. Not to put a stop to them, but we need to. The statists, they need a rude awakening, right?
26 east,
because Bill Maher
26
might have opened his eyes about this whole pandemic, right? and the government's response to it. Charlemagne the God might have realized that Joey B is a piece of shit, that the Democrats in general are pieces of shit.
Quarter of a mile, sharp left turn onto South Carolina 273.
But now what?
2 miles.
Okay.
Exit 61 is on the right.
Joe Biden is a piece of shit. The Democrats are a piece of shit. They don't do what they said they're going to do. Now what? Oh, now you're gonna vote Republican? And when the Republicans don't do what you expected them to do, then you're gonna bitch and complain again? How many times are we gonna go through these cycles? Because Charlemagne the God damn sure don't like what's his name? Donald Trump. You know, he's not a fan of Donald Trump. So what do we do with that? What do we do with this information? Okay, the Democrats ain't shit, the Republicans ain't shit. You put a libertarian in there in this system, and you try to get him to do some shit, he ain't gonna be able to do it. So is it the party, or is it the system that the party is trying to perpetuate? Because if the system is only going to allow you to rule within the system if you go by the system's rule.
61.
If you don't go by the system's rule, they'll spit you out. That's just the reality of it. That's just it. The political party is going to save you. No politician is going to save you. No activist, right? Well, maybe an activist if they're being active in the right way. If they're the right kind of activist, an anti-state activist, you might have something there. But if they're a state activist, what's the use of the people? We have plenty of pro-state activists, people that put the state before the people. They're all over the place. I named a few of them just a while ago: the ABLs, the Brandon Tatums, the Clown Lucas, who might like to think that he's different, but he's not. He ain't no different. He's just spitting different talking points. That's all. It doesn't matter what your talking points are if you're still pro-state. If you still believe in authority, then you're still pro-state. If you believe that the government needs to rule over people, oh, we need the government for this, we need the government. If you believe government is needed, then you're not, what are you going to do? Just like these truck drivers. If they don't like what the government is doing in one instance, but they're still pro-government and they're still like, okay, well, you know, we just don't like what you're doing right now with this situation, then what good is it going to do us? Okay, so they're going to get rid of a face flag or a Vaseline mandate, and inflation might go down a little bit because the supply chain opened back up. Okay. But the fact that we would allow it to get to this point to where there can be this level of inflation, yes, the people, we the people allowed this system to create a monetary system that would even have inflation, right? That inflation would even exist. And it's only because of this fiat currency that we are using. The fiat currency is the reason we can have inflation, right? If we were still using gold and silver, it's finite. You can't print gold and silver. There's only so much of it in circulation. There's only so much that you can mine in a certain period of time. We wouldn't be in this position. There would not be a false increase in the money supply, diluting every dollar you have, and not earning more money per hour. If you earn as much as the currency as items inflated in price, then it wouldn't make a difference. But because they increased the M2 money supply, they devalued the dollar, but we're not making any more money. We're still making the same amount of money as we were before the inflation began. But if somehow we were able to earn as much as shit inflated or more, then it wouldn't be a big deal. Holy shit, they got a Johnson Controls out here? Okay. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? So, if there was a pandemic and we used gold and silver, precious metals, things that actually have value, things that you can't just print out of thin air, that you can't just put zeros and ones into someone's bank account, they wouldn't have been able to do these stimulus packages to the degree that they have. Or they wouldn't be doing this ridiculous spending before we got to this point of the pandemic. Because if they were spending right? If they were spending right before the pandemic and they weren't doing this outrageous spending money on a lot of bullshit like NASA, like foreign aid that's not really foreign aid, right? If they hadn't been doing that for all these decades before this shit happened, well, if we needed a stimulus package, okay, it wouldn't have been a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't be in this position where there's all this inflation